Good morning everybody, good morning everybody. Here is the 1UZ which we pulled out of the LS400 in the last episode. It is absolutely massive. Now as you know, these come with automatic gearboxes. We can't have a drift car with an automatic gearbox because that just isn't cool. So we actually bought a BMW manual gearbox from a E30 V8 and it's a GS6 gearbox. Now, there is a company in Poland who sell custom adapter plates, flywheels and clutches for this exact swap with this exact gearbox. So we have got the adapter plate from Poland. It cost me £1,000 for the adapter plate and the flywheel and the clutch, which isn't that bad because you get everything with it. It's like a stage 1 clutch as well. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start taking this gearbox off and we're going to start putting the adapter plate back on. First of all, we're going to get this gearbox off the car. We've still got everything attached, still got all the wiring and everything like that, so we're going to pull it all off. We are going to label this and take pictures because I do want to use the stock wiring. My only worry is that the engine talks to the gearbox, and without the gearbox there, I'm worried that it might not rev high, or it might think it's in, you know, all these kind of things. So we might have to bridge some wires and we might have to find some workaround. So we're going to label everything. There's only a few wires anyway. So let's just get cracking and let's get this gearbox off. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to remove all of the wiring, which has been a nightmare. I'm not going to lie, all the plugs have been like, if you think VW plugs are bad, see what I mean? Honestly, if you think VW plugs are bad, these have been 10 times worse. That was okay, it was in a good position. When you're trying to get a plug off in a difficult position, honestly, it's an absolute nightmare. I've learned the bloody hard way with doing engine swaps. Just label everything. Even if you don't need it, just label it, because you will forget what that wire is and you will spend 30 minutes trying to figure out if you need it or not. Gearbox. Oh, honestly, every single plug has been like this, and like it's not like a big of a deal. When you like need something, you don't know what it is, and you're just trying to get the engine out, and there's one plug which is impossible to get to. It honestly is actually really frustrating. One thing that is weird and worrying is there's a cable here which goes down to this, so we're going to take it off and see what it is. But it's attached to the throttle, so when you pull the throttle, this cable moves. What is that? Someone in the comments please tell me, why would there be a throttle cable on the gearbox linked to throttle? It's probably really obvious and I'll probably shoot myself when I'm editing this, or someone in the comments going, oh my god, you stupid bastard. So we've got these two like oil cooler lines here, which we have already disconnected from the front, so we can actually get them off the engine, but it goes all the way through the engine. So ideally would want to just keep these on and just pull it off of the box just to stop any leaking here, but it's going to be a pain trying to fiddle them through and get the gearbox off. So we're just going to get these off if we can anyway, because they look a little bit rusty, mate. And this one's not, I don't even know why I'm messing around, honestly. Right, so that's everything away. So what we can do now is we can literally just start taking the bellows and bolts off. I'm hoping that there's not one like right on the bottom, the one we can't get to while it's on this pallet. I've had a quick look and it looks like there's going to be a couple which are going to be a little bit tricky, but doable. But I don't think there's any like right in the bottom of the pallet, which is good news. Let's get the gun out and let's start doing some fun stuff. Now, although I've got a custom kit with what theoretically should be everything, I don't know if we have to reuse some of these bolts. I don't know if we're going to have to reuse some of these bolts for the adapter plate, well, we're not going to reuse these bolts for the new gearbox. But I'm hoping that the adapter plate comes with like all new bolts, so both sides of the bolts, so bolts to the engine and then bolts on the gearbox to the adapter plate. But just in case, we're going to somewhat remember which way these come off, and we're going to keep hold of them as well. I need a brake bar. There's a couple of tricky ones at the bottom. I think they're 14s though, so they should be okay with the gun. So we've got one 14mm here and
I was thinking we might have to get the cat off to get it off, but I managed to get my socket on, but now winding it back, my socket's actually got stuck between the gearbox and the cat, so it's actually not winding itself out. So we've got to take the cats off anyway because we ain't running those. So let's take the cats off. Let's take this time to get the cats off. What's to be a 14mm now, which is stuck on that fucking bolt. Part of me thinks, guys, that we're going to be using the grinder for this. Not gonna lie. Oh, it needs a deep 14 as well, for God's sake. Right. I hate getting cat bolts off. They just never ever. Ooh, I can get these cats off with actually unscrewing. This is going to be a miracle. I mean, it's not going to happen because there's just nowhere near our room. For God's sake. Shit. Honestly, mate, I don't even know why anyone even has tools. Just get a fucking grinder. So I've just realised I'm not going to be able to get the cat off because it's sat on the pallet. So let's just lift the engine up. Honestly, I had to hammer that on at such an angle where it just snapped it. I mean, I'm not bothered because obviously I just need the cat off. But like, if I was actually working on this car, like I'd be fucking fuming. Everything is just like stupid. Like nothing just goes together. We're like, well, what's going on here? It's no bolting, it's just hooked round. So you can't get it out. It's just, this is what I would expect from like German annoying shit. Not like, no, 90s jack. Like everything's just a fucking pain. Get the grinder out. I don't know how you was meant to get them off because I could only literally get a socket on one of the bolts, and that's with hammering them. Piss take, mate. Anyway, we can get to this final 14 here now. You would have never been able to get out this last bolt with the cats on. So to get the gearbox off, you've got to take the cats off. Mate, what a piss take. Yep, same with this side, we've got to get the cats off. Realistically, I mean, we should really be trying to get the box off once the engine's on the crane, but I've lifted the engine up just so obviously, you know, nothing's touching, well, the engine isn't touching the pallet, and let's just see if we can just break it off. There's a bolt here which connects the lines to the gearbox, and that's obviously bolted to the engine and to the gearbox, so we need to just remove it from the gearbox. There's fucking fluid going everywhere. I hate oil. We'll get it off. I think we'll be able to get it off without having it on the crane. It's just easier putting the engine on the crane than without the gearbox because the gearbox is going to be fucking like pulling it all the way down, you know what I mean? So she's been a bit stubborn. Oh my god, they really don't make these fucking nice to work on, do they? Okay, it's coming. I had a look on YouTube and was like, is there more bolts that I can't see? But no, I have got them all off. I think it's just because I've got the weight of the box. Although the engine's lifted, I think it's because I've got the weight of the box over the pallet, but it's nearly there. There we go. So I think, yeah, I don't think that helped because I think the engine, as you see when I took the gearbox off, the engine's sat, so I think it would have been better to either not put it on them blocks or put it on the box at the bottom of the bell housing, because obviously I'm trying to pull it straight out and it wants to go down. The gearbox is off. You need to get the torque converter off. There's 10 bolts, and so you've got to just turn the engine, take 2 off, turn the engine, take 2 off, turn the engine. Realistically, I should have done that and just pulled the box off with the torque converter, but it is what it is. We've not done that. So, whatever. I think it's going to be hard to get under there with the engine on the floor, so I think now is going to be a good time to get the engine on the crane, I think. So, I just hope I've left myself enough room at the front to actually get it on a crane and get it out. I don't know. I hope. I'm a little bit worried. It's got an E-jar valve, which we don't want anyway, but this is cracked, broke there. So
what we can do is, I've looked and nobody sells them online, or there's a place in America which sells like £100, like it's literally a couple bits of metal. So it's gonna make it. We've got some sheet metal around. I think we should get the engine up on the crane, so let's try that. Wanted to put the car this way, so like the front of the car here, but because it was on the trolley, the dolly things, we couldn't get it over onto the ramp because it was on the dollies, and the dollies were on the back wheels. So now I'm just thinking, how the hell are we going to get it off, because we need to put the dollies on the front because the subframes. Oh. The next challenge is how the hell we're going to get this off the pallet. The pallet was just, obviously, it was just way too long to go over straight. So I spun it on its side. The engine's massive, like the legs are barely going through it anyway. So I'm going to have to take the fan off because the fan's hitting this arm, this leg here, on here. I still don't know how we're going to get it off the ramp. I think I'm going to have to lift it up on this side, get it off the pallet, sorry. Lift the legs up here, and then jack the legs up, jack up on the legs, and then remove the pallet, and then let the jacks down. I think that's literally the only way we're going to do it, but we're going to have to get the fan off. So I've took the belt off. So I think we're going to, while we're here, we're going to do an aircon delete anyway. So we're going to take the AC off this side, just get a short belt. I actually have to remove like the fan clutch. There's 4 bolts here, which I'm hoping just holds on the outside of the fan. Yes. So I've got to get the torque converter off, and there's maybe 6 bolts on the inside, and obviously you've got to turn the engine and then crack them loose. But when you're doing this on your own, it's hard because you have to obviously stop the engine from turning. So I've got to come over here, move it with this bar to where the bolts line up to the bottom, because you only get like one at a time. So I can get that one now. Then I've got to take this bar off and then wedge it. Then I've got to come round and then pray the wedge is good, and then pray that nothing's moved, and then crack them off. And this is just so I can get a little bit more room with the leg, in the hope that I can get it off this fucking pallet. Well, that wasn't the pain. We've done it. It's a bit sketchy at the minute. Yes. Oh my god, what a faff. I'm going to start getting everything ready literally for the next video. So this took way longer than I thought it would. I spent, I reckon, about an hour and a half literally just trying to get it off the damn pallet. It's such a fat engine. So I'm going to take the subframe off and everything that we don't need to get that subframe off, and I might start making up some EGR blanks as well for this. And then in the next video as well, we're going to start putting on the custom flywheel and the custom adapter plate and everything like that, because that's not something I want to rush. I'm not exactly very good with clutches and things. So it probably feels like I've not done a lot today, but realistically we have actually got a lot done today, to be fair. So yeah, I just added on a little bit more just off camera. I actually took off the EGR valve. It's quite a big system on this as well, so we're going to have to make a blanking plate for this, just make a longer hose for the coolant, and then make some blanking plates for the back. So this is how the engine's sitting, she's on the floor. Again, in the next episode we're going to be putting on the manual gearbox and stuff. So for now, I love you all, and we'll see you in the next one.